This is Abbotsford underwater again. It's been more than 2 weeks of dealing with heavy rain, evacuation orders and flooding, and the constant stress and anxiety is taking a toll.
So this is the top of the water.
Rich Van Laar's dairy farm was among the many operations in the Sumas Prairie overwhelmed by floodwaters. For 3 days, the farm sat under almost a meter of water.
I had 16 calves in my garage in the house, so nice amount of noise in the house.
Since then, back-to-back storm systems have made it almost impossible to focus on recovery.
We've been in the cleanup process ever since the big one hit here, and just hoping it doesn't come back.
Water from the Nooksack River in Washington State has now made its way to this part of Abbotsford near the Trans-Canada Highway. It's flooded this side street, but the water is still moving, traveling down into the Sumas Prairie before heading into the Fraser River.
Highway 1 through the Fraser Valley remains closed between Abbotsford and Chilliwack. The Tiger dams that were set up there on Sunday night are in place and have been effective in preventing the roadway from being flooded.
On Tuesday, a small number of homes were evacuated because of localized flooding. But overall, the city says its infrastructure has been coping well this round. The relentless rains scarring and submerging the landscape as people here now start planning to move on.
In British Columbia's flood zone, communities are isolated and struggling to survive.
The situation obviously is evolving, not over days here, it's evolving within hours and minutes and changing.
Highway 7, a crucial artery in BC, has been hit by a landslide.
Of course, we know with the Trans-Canada closed, we know how important Highway 7 is as the only road corridor where essential goods can move out of the Lower Mainland.
The Coquihalla, which is a connector between Vancouver and the rest of BC, is still in pieces and won't reopen for months. Already, reconstruction bills are adding up, likely to reach the billions.
It's fairly confident to say this is going to be the most costliest disaster in Canadian history.
That's because at no time in history have so many different communities been hit with one disaster.
It is not cheap to rebuild roads, to rebuild road lines, to rebuild dikes.
It's not lost on federal politicians that just about every route from BC to the rest of Canada has taken a hit.
CN Rail is still not operating. CP Rail is moving ahead.
The Trans Mountain Pipeline is still offline after the latest bout of bad weather, delaying fuel already being rationed that is in short supply.
The significant weather that we have seen continues to create challenges for Trans Mountain and the transport of fuel through the pipeline.
Suffice to say, normal life is going to be disrupted for a long time. Even the leaders trying to manage this disaster are struggling to stay afloat.
We've got to get through today, and then we've got to get through tomorrow.
And many more tomorrows are ahead with the rain that hasn't stopped its reign of destruction. Robin Gill, Global News, Vancouver.